round of applause for Jesper.
Thank you. Can you hear me back there? Yes, I'm Jesper. I've been working here for almost 10 years at the backend with Scala, and recently we're migrating away from Cassandra and are now working against Postgres instead. So we found this library Skunk, which is pretty neat. So I'm gonna talk about that for a while. So why Skunk? Why Skunk? It's a purely functional, non-blocking library built on Cat's Effect. It has powerful type-safe codecs. So one Scala types is mapping to Postgres types, which is neat. It has very good error messages as well, and resource safety. It's built on Cat's Effect resources. So each session is a resource that you use, and it hasn't only have like FS2 and Cat's Effect dependencies, so no JDBC, which is nice. So that's pretty much everything except for the live demo. What's bad about it?
It smells.
It smells, yeah. Good one. Yeah, I don't know. Is there, how many have experience from using Skunk? No one. But you heard about it? Okay, cool. So let's... yeah, probably something. I had to reboot my computer, so...
That's a small focus.
Yeah, sorry about that. Maybe if we do something like this.
Thank you.
Can you see all the way back?
Yes.
Nice. So yeah, I just built this small app. Basically, it has a main which creates a Postgres object, which doesn't have much yet because I've divided it into steps in different branches, and we have a small HTTP interface as well, which isn't much either right now. What more do we have here? Yeah, and we have to-dos. So we're building basically a small to-do app. And let's start with step one, how to insert something. So basically you create queries like this. You have this SQL, which is string interpolation, and you specify this is a codec from Skunk. So you import this, and then you get varchar and you get ints and stuff like that. So we insert something with the name and get back the ID of it as an int. So we should try and how this is used in here is we prepare this query as we specified in the companion object of the to-do, and just use unique to say that we want that's the output of it, the ID. So we get an int back from this one, and then
unique about it?
It's only one.
Only one row.
Only one row in the response, exactly. And then we have an HTTP route, which where you can post in a string, and you get back the ID, basically. So let's try this. This should have been prepared as well, but ooh. Okay, we need okay. Now we have that running as well. Okay, so now we should be able to put something in our to-do list. We got an ID of 1 back, and we can see what we have in here. Yeah, we have 1 item which is not completed yet, but it would be pretty nice if we can also select everything from the API, I guess. So let's go to the next thing. If there is any questions, you can just ask at any time. So now we have introduced another thing, which is list, which also is one of these Skunk queries, where we select ID, name, completed, and we have also built this codec, which is you combine this multiple types. So we have an int4. This is the Postgres types, which is mapped to the Scala types. So this is a Boolean, and this is a string, and this is an int. And then when we do this query and insert a codec, it automatically maps the response to the to-do thing. So we have the input type and the output type. This is the insert, and this is the list one. We get the list of to-dos, but no input type. So let's...
One question.
Yep.
If you go back to the insert, it says like values varchar in the query.
Yeah.
You had multiple string columns.
This is the insert, so we just insert the name.
Yeah, but why is it called varchar?
That's the name of the Postgres type.
But what if you have 2 columns that are varchars?
Yeah, then it would be something like this.
No, but I mean, like, if let's say you have 2 and you only want to insert one of them, how would you?
What do you mean? Have 2?
Let's say we have another column that's like comment or something.
Okay.
And to insert, you only need this one.
So you want?
I want to insert only the name.
Okay. Yeah.
But we have another column.
Yeah.
It's like the other one has a default, so we need to name it something different, right? Not just a type.
Well, the naming isn't important really. This is just this is basically the question marks, you know, when you do a prepared query in JDBC stuff.
Mm. Okay.
And this specifies the type, so we know what kind of type we need to put in, and that's kind of the codec magic in Skunk.
Okay.
So it maps. So it just says this is going to be a string, and the input type here specifies what we need to put in. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's interesting to see in the Postgres actually, because when we do insert query, we just prepared and this value, but then when we actually use it, here is the name of the to-do. We have 3 columns in the table, and we add name, and the other 2 is one is ID, which is a serial, so it's automatically incremented and stuff, and then we have the complete, which is a Boolean, which we don't specify either here. But then we say we insert. Unique here is basically we're querying for 1 row exactly and nothing else, and that's going to be the response of the thing. So before we got an int back, now I switched it to get the entire to-do back, and for that we need that codec. So when we say unique and name, that means basically we're inserting the name, and then since we have we're returning the ID, name, and completed, then with this codec, which is a combination of those 3 types, it can automatically create this to-do case class.
Checking, like compile time?
Yeah, it's compile time checking.
So basically, you get an error if you have the wrong number of arguments.
Yeah. If I would do something like this, it would not compile. Yeah, it says that this is already here because we're. Yeah.
Cool. Wait, sorry, is that checking that those three arguments can be passed or converted via the .to method to do?
Yeah, to.
But how strictly checked is the query string itself? If you deleted the name.
Yeah, that probably won't do anything. That's fine. Yeah, but I guess if you wouldn't specify this or something else, or maybe we say, if we just if we remove the varchar from here, then I think it won't compile because now it found something without an input because it just finds the thing that are codecs that we put in as like string interpolation in the thing.
SQL checking.
No, not in compile time. But we're gonna show some of the nice error messages as well later on. So, but for the list thing at least, unless it's more questions. Okay, what have we? And yeah, this is basically returning a stream of to-dos. Since we're using on the prepared query, we're using the stream function. And since we don't have any input to that query, we just put void and the chunk size. And then we get the stream back, which we can use in the HTTP server. And here we have the Postgres list. And it should just work. Amazing. So maybe it would be nice to be able to just select one of these as well. And then we have the get, and then we have the input type int instead of void, where we get the ID and we put it here in the SQL, and we get back the ID name completed, and it's also using the codec to transform it into the to-do.
You have to use a codec, or you can just use a tuple or something?
No, you can use something like, I think, some type of codec you need. Maybe we could probably do something like this, and yeah, okay, let's.
No, but I assume if you only want to select some of the columns,
yeah,
you can just type the actual type.
Yeah, you can probably do something like you can do if you remove completed and name, you can do just varchar here.
Yeah, sure, that's one.
Oh, not like that, but yeah.
Or just use a tuple or something.
Yeah, exactly. So you can do also. You can type, yeah. Since this is a value, you could put this in here as well. So you get like tuples back instead of an actual type.
But you also need that codec down there with the given thing, right? So it's not just.
This is a Cersei codec, so it doesn't have anything to do with Skunk. It's just for the HTTP API to work, to be able to get out anything from the API, which now we should be able to get number 1 back, and if we try 2, we get a 404 back here. But yeah, maybe that's a good place to show some of the error messages. If because in the Postgres here we are actually doing option of here, but we can try to do unique instead. And that makes sure that it should be only one row and nothing else, otherwise it's gonna throw an error. So yeah, and then we probably need to do something like, because it needs to return an option still. So if we try this now, yeah, we get this nice error. Something is wrong here. Exactly one row was expected, but none were returned. You used unique. Did you mean to use option? And you get this SQL back and all these fires here that shows you are wrong. It's pretty neat. It's good for troubleshooting. So that's one. Maybe we also want to maybe be able to update something. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Here we have a command instead, since this is not going to return anything. You just insert a string, a boolean, and an int. It could be an entire to-do as well, but now we're not doing that. So basically, we're updating the name and completed, because the ID we don't want to update, and where the ID is of that type.
If you need to repeat the input for any reason, you just have to specify it multiple times in the order that's used in SQL.
Yes. You could... Yeah, sorry?
What does the for stand for? Int for?
That's that's the Postgres type.
Okay.
Int 4, so it's a 4-bit integer. 4 byte, sorry. 4-bit, it's a maximum 8. No. Yeah, it's a 4-byte integer. And it's and that maps to the Scala type int. And if you have a int 8 instead, it's the long type in Scala.
But let's say you say here where ID is in 4 and name is varchar.
Yeah.
Would that work?
Yeah, but then you need to insert more
But I want
stuff.
it to be the same one as the name.
We can try. And name equals varchar. Thank you, Copilot. And then I think we can do something like this. Yeah, if we get the to-do, for example, and then you need to here specify then, yeah, like it suggests almost, because now no, that's not right. But you have somewhere you need to specify, but if you do this and you need to use the name twice and you get the to-do in here, then it would be a command with to-do here instead. Then you get, then you need to still put in a tuple, so it will be name, completed, ID, and name again. Sorry?
I mean, it looks like it's easier to just repeat the parameter.
Yeah, that's what we have done, at least. Or maybe you write some SQL to put that in some kind of SQL variable kind of thing before in the beginning, and just reuse it in the SQL without having more input parameters. So yeah, it's a matter of...
I don't want to make it too complicated.
No. Yeah. No, for this, I don't think it's needed. That should go away as well. Maybe we can just do that. So now we should be able to update stuff at least. So maybe put that one into a variable and do put instead, where we update completed to true. Maybe we should just have a look here. See, yeah, it's false. And now it's true. Amazing. But yeah, in the Postgres, we have the update here. So we Then we do execute, since it's a command and not a query. And then we just put the input parameters as a tuple to it. And then, we do some stuff just to see. We get the Boolean if the update was, if we would do, for example, 2 here, we're probably going to get the 404 back, because we get from when you do an execute, you get the completion back, and that could be an update or a delete or an insert, I guess. So then you can check it afterwards what the values are. And in the HTTP service, do something appropriate. Like, if it's okay, we return okay, otherwise not found. That's update. Is there anything more you would like to do? Maybe delete. The same with this. We have a command with only an int as an input, and we delete where int ID is the int4, which is the input parameter. And that's used similarly here. It's execute ID, and if it's the same as update, pretty much. But what would happen if I don't think we looked a lot of how to create a session against Postgres. Here we're using a single session, and what if this was a real web application which many people were accessing at the same time? Maybe just 2 that post some random chars into to create to-dos. And it's actually pretty simple to break a single session Postgres that way. So then we can create a multi-session pool instead. This looks like this. I'm going to share this afterwards. I'm not going to go through everything. But basically you create this function that creates a session, and then you're creating a pool of this session and how big of a pool we want. And then we're using that. That means that we get, instead of a resource, we get back a resource of a resource. So in the main, where we use the session pool instead, then we have to update the HTTP server to take a resource instead of just the Postgres. And we also need to, for you familiar with Katz effect, know how that you need to do use, and every time you do use, you pull out a new session basically from the pool, which is used to access the database. So now I think it should be possible to do multiple at once. And I think we have some here. And you can do even more, like 100 or something, which is suddenly no problem. I think that's almost everything I have. Is there any more questions or thoughts? Yeah?
So in the beginning, you were talking that you were moving from Cassandra to Postgres.
Yes.
I'm just curious on the use case there. So Cassandra is typically for large sets of data.
Yeah.
Postgres is not.
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry.
Yeah. So the question was why? What's the reason for moving from Cassandra to Postgres? And but maybe the question was why Cassandra in the first place?
Well, sure. I mean.
Yeah. That's the question we're telling ourselves, really, because I think there was from the beginning that we aimed for a super large scale, which didn't really happen. But yeah, I think it's a classic case of premature optimization. But Postgres is much more practical since it's a relational database instead of just the NoSQL thing, and it's much easier to work with. And so we have lots of troubles with dealing with Cassandra and like trying to join stuff without having joins and things like that. So yeah. It's much more practical with Postgres than Cassandra. Really.
Related question.
Yep.
You said at the start as well that this has minimal dependencies, including not JDBC.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're like worrying about moving between databases, and if JDBC is pretty much standard for
Yep.
Java,
Yeah.
and supported by a wide range of different engines, why would not having that ability be a good thing?
Yeah, I guess we.
Based on that, you could just swap out your engine a lot more smoothly.
Yeah, for sure. But why? I mean, if you want to go to I don't know, Oracle or MySQL or something, then it's not a good choice to use this. But if you know that you want to use Postgres, I guess.
The syntaxes are different, right? So, I mean, you're probably going to have to rewrite your code anyway, right?
Yeah. If we're going to switch to another database, we're going to need to rewrite the code, of course. Otherwise, I guess you can use Doobie or something which still uses JDBC. But yeah.
Is Skunk database agnostic?
Sorry, could you repeat
Postgres
the
was-
question?
Is it only for Postgres?
Skunk is, the question is Skunk only for Postgres? Yes, it's only for Postgres. It's like, it's using the wire protocol or something, I think it's called, to go directly against Postgres. So yeah, it's a hard choice, I guess. Yes, yeah.
There is a new similar library to Skunk called Typo. Have you reviewed it or not?
Yeah, the question is, there's a new other library than Skunk called Typo, right? I haven't heard about it actually. Is it also Postgres or
It's Postgres, yes. No JDBC, Postgres. I think it's a fresh project. I haven't used it myself.
Okay. Yeah, worth a look, I guess.
What is the current challenge if you're looking for something else?
Current challenge in
If you try to optimize to another one, what would you like
to another database type or?
You mentioned you want to move from Skunk to this. What's the reason for you?
To move to Skunk or?
You are using Skunk
Yeah.
to move to this new one.
What would be the challenge of moving to something else than
What
Skunk?
is the need for you?
Uh,
Do you have a need? Do you have a Skunk that doesn't solve the problem for you, or do you want another one? You don't want to change because it's a new version.
Sorry, I don't quite get the question. What's the
Do you have some problem with Skunk right now?
if I have any problems with Skunk right now? Not really. That we didn't find anything obvious, at least. It's
Then
yeah,
you don't have a need to look other solutions.
not for the moment. No, it's more for out of curiosity, I guess.
Are you running it in production yet?
Yes, we're running it for like 3 or 4 services at the moment. Works fine so far.
When you run it in production and you get some kind of error like with the fires,
Yeah.
error with the fires, or is it something that's a bit more tailored towards
Tailored to
cloud?
brand.
Oh no, actually, we get the errors with the fires, and
Oh my God.
so. But it's neat because you can see directly what kind of errors it is. We're having our logs in Kibana, so we can just see it right there in the interface. Perfect.
Search for that emoji.
Yeah, exactly. We can search for the fire emoji. Do we have any database problems? Yeah. Perfect.
Alert based on the virus.
Yeah, exactly. And the Datadog monitors for it. DB error. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that Prometheus row.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I was wondering, is there any static checking of the query string at all, or inject information that comes from the string itself?
Is there any? The question is there any static checking of the query string? And I believe that the only checking is the input parameters in the string, which are the codec stuff, the varchar and int4 and stuff. Yeah. In the string itself, it's runtime errors.
You better have some tests.
Yeah, that's a good. But you always have the fires, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Matthew.
You noted that it was SQL injection itself.
Yeah, it's since it have the codecs and the static types connected to those, it's also built in some SQL injection things as well, or SQL injection protection things. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that parameterized queries, they have issues when, for example, if you want to have sending descending order like as a parameter to the query, or I think they have an issue. Is it possible to use this kind of a codex to encode parameters that are outside of the insertion values or of the where clause, like for ordering, for example?
Yeah. Sorry. The question is, how is the ordering of the input parameters in the SQL?
You have select where, order by,
Yeah.
and then you have some columns that dynamically come in.
Yeah. That dynamically come in.
So you're saying, how do I do SQL injections?
Yes, in a way.
Dynamic parameter.
But say you want to do sort ask or desk.
Yeah.
Have that parameterized.
Yeah, the ask or desk is parameterized. Yeah, I'm not sure that's possible actually. To have like SQL keywords as a string. I don't think so actually. Then you would have to have some kind of case statement or something in the Postgres, I guess.
There's no meta level of generating the actual string that then gets parsed into.
I honestly don't know really. But yeah, have not used it like that yet.
Are the queries like actual strings you can combine them as you like in code, or are they actually some other type when they actually are compiled? I mean, like if you show that this looks like a string, right, with just parameters passed in. But what is the type of it actually? I mean, I remember that from other libraries that they're like it's super hard to combine queries as you like, just plus them together. If you if you want to do like, as you said, adding ask or desk or something, you just plus a string.
Oh yeah.
Is the SQL just a function?
It's SQL there before the string, right? So it's some special type, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. This is a fragment. So you can I think you can do something like this and do SQL something order by ID, for example. I think this is valid code as almost. Yeah, we do.
Command at the end, maybe concatenate.
Oh yeah. Maybe actually we need to do something like this then and do maybe something like this. Whatever. since it doesn't really, maybe it's plus then. There is ways of doing it, but I know you can create a small fragment and use that as if you have some kind of string that are something like that, and then you can do something like this, I think, too.
All right, that's like.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be literally that way. So that way you could probably, use the as SQL words, SQL. But then I guess you need to know what you're doing. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you, Jesper.
Thank you.